Hello viewers, my name is Wilson Mutua and this is Kingdom Entrepreneurship. Now today I want us to focus on conflict management and resolution in a business environment, because we cannot be able to thrive in our businesses if we do our businesses in a conflict-riddled environment. And so it is important to know how to go about the management of such. So today I want us to focus on this, and it's quite a very interesting story. Now, what is conflict? Conflict is when people perceive, or what causes conflict is people's perception with regards to the way resources are allocated, or even positions, the way positions are distributed within an organization, even sometimes even in government, and that can be a cause of conflict, because people can perceive that their communities, or even they themselves, or people who are closely associated with them, are not receiving what is due to them, and so that can be a cause of conflict. And so we want us to focus on conflict management using biblical approach. And James explained in James chapter 4, he gives an explanation on how conflict can come about. James chapter 4 verse 1 to 2. Where do wars and fights come from among you? He's asking that question. You can read, where do conflicts come from among you? And he answers that question by saying, do they not come from your desires for pleasure? So he goes back to the issues of desire and pleasure. Pleasure is where people just want to get things just to use them for their own self-gratification. Do they come from? Do they not come from your desires for pleasure that walk within your members? He's talking about things that are within us. Desire for pleasure, just to get things, just to satisfy or gratify our own selfish ambitions. In verse 2, you lust and do not have. So he is further explaining the cause of conflict, which is lusting. You murder and covet and cannot obtain. He's bringing in issue of even getting to a place where people murder or even coveting. Coveting is where you desire things that do not belong to you. You fight and war, yet you do not have because you do not ask. So James is explaining the cause of conflict, and from his explanation we can say conflict is an issue of the heart, issues of pleasure, issues within us that need to be managed. That if we can focus on changing our attitudes, changing our desires, changing the way we perceive things, sometimes wrongly, that can help us to manage conflict or to resolve conflict within an organization or even in a community. So it goes back to the issues of the heart. If we can change the hearts of people, if we can adjust people's perception, if we can help people to create the right, to have the right desire, and even not to covet, not to hate, not to murder from within their hearts, that can go a long way in resolving conflict and even being able to manage conflict within a community or even in an organization. Now, there are three models of conflict resolution as outlined in the Bible. Now, conflict between Abraham and Lot. So when their flock was increasing, they quarreled because there was not enough pasture for both of them, that is Abraham and Lot. And Abraham, in this case, he decided to protect his relationship with the Lord other than the pastures or the resources, because he said, you are my relative, I cannot conflict with you, I can't fight, I cannot allow conflict to come between the two of us. So in this case, Abraham decided to protect his relationship with Lot other than going for the pasture. So one way, according to this particular model between Abraham and Lot, sometimes when conflict come out, or when there is conflict, or when we are faced with a conflicting situation, so the best way sometimes is to protect our relationship, to value relationship other than the resources. In this case, Abraham chose to value his relationship with the Lord other than the pasture land. Now, the other model is Jesus' model of conflict resolution in Matthew chapter 18. And in this model, we see there must be protocol for dispute resolution. We should not just jump, or we should not just conclude that this person is this and this. We should not just right to a conclusion. We have to engage into certain protocols. We have to allow certain protocol to take place. If your brother sins against you according to Jesus, go to him between the two of you. If he listens to you, then you have won his heart. If he refuses, go to the next step. Look for an arbiter. If he refuses to listen to the witness or an arbiter, then take him to the larger group or to the church or to the other community. And if the community, he refuses to listen to the community, treat him like one of the heathens. So Jesus is explaining the protocol for dispute resolution. It is from the micro to the macro. From the micro is the two of you. So don't take it beyond the context. When he listens, if your brother listens to you, don't take it beyond that context. So because he has already accepted that he's in the wrong. So it is from micro to macro. And that is a process that conflict can flare up, or it can escalate. If conflict is not managed from the micro, the two of you, and if it is allowed to continue, if it is not properly managed, it can escalate to full scale. And so Jesus is giving us the protocol for dispute resolution, where it should be managed from the micro, the two of you, before it can be taken to the macro aspects of management. So it is important to know that conflict resolution must be managed in a certain protocol, from the micro to the macro. Now, the other model is King Solomon's model. These two women came to Solomon, and they had a child, which belonged, each woman had a child. And when they slept at night, one of them slept on her child, and the child died. And so the other one, whose child had not died, got an issue, because the woman whose child died stole the child of the one whose child was still alive. And so these two women came to Solomon, and Solomon had to resolve this conflict. The one whose child had died over the night, wanted the child to be split into two, or to be separated, to be cut into two. But the one who knew that the child really belonged to her, she refused, and she said, I want this child to live so that I can be seeing my child alive. Because in this particular case of conflict management and resolution, what we see here is that if we have to manage conflict, then we have to protect what we have given birth to. We have to protect what we have labored for. So the person who feels that you have not contributed into the labor will be careless, will even be not protective to the resources that we have labored to bring on board. And so these two women, we see that the one who knew that she had really labored for this child, she's the real mother, she has, she knew the pain of giving birth, she knew that this child belongs to me, she was willing and ready to protect the gains. And so when we are able to manage conflict in this manner, we have to come to a place whereby we realize that we have labored for so much, we have worked for so much, we have given birth to resources. This child belongs to me. I don't want to see the destruction of what we have labored for, what we have given birth. I don't want to see the destruction of my child. I don't want to see my child dead, because I value the labor, I value the input, I value the hard work. And so one way to manage dispute is to make sure that we should not allow the destruction of what we have labored for years to go into waste. And that is one way to manage dispute. So God bless you so much as we engage in dispute management and resolution in our organization, so that we can thrive in our enterprises and succeed and experience peaceful coexistence. So God bless you so much.